Well, the government shutdown has reached the end of another long week, as hundreds of thousands of federal workers missed their first full paycheck yesterday. Also, President Trump plans to meet with several leaders in Asia throughout the week to discuss tariffs, their role in helping reach a deal in the war in Ukraine, and how that has seemingly led to one of the United States' biggest partners finding themselves on the outside looking in amidst this trade war, as well as some of the biggest supporters feeling personally betrayed. I'm Colin Moore. It's day 25 of the government shutdown, and still no end truly seems to be in sight, as Republicans and Democrats haven't moved even an inch, standing firm on one of the central issues, healthcare. Federal workers have now officially missed their first full paycheck, after their last pay period offered them only 80% of what they were originally due. In addition to the federal workers feeling the immediate impact and reality of potentially working without pay or calling in sick, as they have during previous shutdowns, America as a whole is also feeling these impacts. National parks in Yosemite and Gettysburg have seen vandalism and dangerous activity occurring in the midst of a workforce crackdown already affected by the firings of more than 4,000 workers in January. In addition to the loss of income, even more Americans may be feeling increased pressure at the grocery counter. SNAP benefits, those including the more than outdated word food stamps, benefiting low-income households, is also at serious risk. Earlier this week, a memo leaked from the Department of Agriculture and initially reported on by CNN suggested that despite access to a $6 billion contingency fund to continue access to certain SNAP benefits, these benefits would not be tapped in on. But yesterday, in a change of events, President Trump came out and stated that next month he would actually authorize the continued SNAP benefits to America. However, he did decline to state where exactly those funds would be coming from. And the government does seem to be finding new resources every week. Yesterday, the government announced that it plans to accept a $130 million donation to continue to pay federal troops while this shutdown persists. Initially an anonymous donation from a wealthy patriot and friend, as Trump put it, sources insist that it would only go as far as supplying $100 per service member and may even turn out to be illegal, as the proposed funds weren't actually approved by Congress. There are now reports out that Timothy Mellon, the billionaire banking heir and longtime Trump supporter, is being the generous donator. Either way, neither the Republican Party nor the Democrats have made strides in bridging a gap in ideologies that, no matter how you slice it up, continues to hurt the American people. While this chaos continues to ensue in our own home, President Trump's focuses seem to be, almost squarely situated on foreign affairs. The delicate peace deal between Israel and Gaza continues to prove a difficult feat in the long term, but already the president has shifted his focus to other regions. After dismissing a potential summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin as unnecessary and unproductive earlier in the week, Trump plans to spend a week touring Asia and meeting with several important leaders in the region. All of this leading to Thursday, when he plans to meet with President Xi to discuss tariffs and their role in pressuring Russia to end the war in Ukraine. President Trump has stated that he thinks the United States will likely concede certain aspects of previously imposed tariffs if China is willing to do the same, but has offered very little as to what he hopes to accomplish as a direct result of these talks. This summit will come just about a week after the president announced that he would be cutting off trade negotiations with Canada, one of the top trade partners for the United States, over potentially misused audio of the late President Ronald Reagan speaking out against foreign tariffs in the interest of free and open trade.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing.
This is what got us here. A $75 million ad campaign by the Ontario government airing on American television.
And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time.
It targets Trump's tariffs and their negative impacts on Americans, using a 1987 speech from President Ronald Reagan.
That over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
But it didn't sit well with President Donald Trump. He called the ad fake, ending trade talks with Canada as a result.
They did a crooked ad. They know it was Ronald Reagan loved tariffs.
But that's not true, according to this former economic advisor to Reagan.
President Trump hasn't studied the situation and doesn't really know what he's talking about.
While the ad clearly upset the president, Steve Hanke says it's not fake, fraudulent, or crooked. It's just not what the president wanted to hear.
It really shows a characteristic of Trump. The guy's thin-skinned. Reagan was cool.
Reagan was always an advocate of free and fair trade, and this former chief NAFTA negotiator for Canada says it's Reagan's work that helped lead to that first trade deal.
It was a logical continuation of his policy approach to trade, continuing to put the NAFTA in place.
The Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute says the ad misrepresents Reagan's speech, and it's considering legal options.
In America, you can always sue, and the question is, can you win? And the answer here is pretty clearly no.
Ontario launched the ad in question on October 14th. It's now run multiple times during Major League Baseball playoffs, including this weekend's World Series game. Trump says he's increasing tariffs because it wasn't pulled immediately. Ontario says it'll stop running Monday.
It's interesting that this point is being fixated on by the current administration, while they seemingly aim to control the aspects of nearly all foreign exports in the interest of protecting American workers and businesses. One of those groups of workers he's long had the support of and campaigned in favor of are American farmers. Yet every time the president speaks against the rising domestic costs of living as an American, one of his biggest targets is the grocery store. Recently, it's been the price of beef, rising around 15% in prices, and the president thinks he may have a solution to that problem.
Are we expecting a beef deal?
I assume you're talking about beef, yeah.
No,
to get beef prices down. The only price we have that's high is beef, and we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
No, but my question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, they are a top
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
What do you mean by a beef deal, sir?
We would buy some beef from Argentina. If we do that, that will bring our beef prices down. Because our groceries are down, our energy prices are down. I think we're going to have $2 gasoline pretty soon. We're getting close. And everything's down. The one thing that's kept up is beef. And if we buy some beef, now I'm not talking about that much from Argentina, it would help Argentina, which we consider a very good country, a very good ally in a place. Although I must tell you, if you take a look now, South America is turning. Those South American countries are starting to turn very much toward us. They're getting away from socialism, and you can go right down the pack. But they are starting to turn.
Now, while it might seem logical that the price of beef in the country would likely lower in the event that the market become more saturated with cheaper beef imported from foreign networks, ranchers here at home are worried that this effort would actually undermine their own practices of regulating prices in the event of a prolonged drought, a prospect that has now been endured for several years in a row, and destroy their ability to compete. This is a group of hardworking Americans that has long supported President Trump's and his agenda, but now they're feeling a lack of support from the man who campaigned for open and free trade, and now threatens to force them out of business.
We don't need it here. We've got enough beef we can support our own. We're finally starting to make some money.
But President Trump announcing he's considering importing more Argentine beef to provide relief to consumer wallets.
Well, I've supported President Trump 100%, but this I disagree with him on.
On Tuesday, posting on Truth Social, the president taking credit for the surging beef market, criticizing ranchers to bring their prices down.
Feels like a slap in the face to us, to try to bring our prices down when we're finally making money and surviving.
Come out with some programs that are more beneficial to them and support our youth in agriculture so that they can get in.
Everybody is wanting to add cattle to their herd, and they are slowly. I don't think we ever will get back to where we once was.
Right now, Americans everywhere are feeling increased burdens at work and at home as prices continue to rise, and hope continues to bow. But our leaders need to find a way to come together and remember that their job is to serve the American people. We'll have more updates in the coming days.